Hi everyone, to another episode of Dimitra's Dishes. Today we're going to be making a delicious Lebanese dish known as Fatteh. Now this is my version. I had it a while back at the bakery when my Lebanese friend Nadia made it for me, and I just could not stop eating it. It's so delicious. It's more of like an appetizer, but definitely you could eat it as a main course if you like. There's chickpeas in it, a delicious tahini yogurt sauce that's garlicky and so good. And then there's crispy pita chips in there too, so you get so many layers of texture and flavor. Let's get started. So begin by making the pita chips, and traditionally they are fried in either butter or oil, but I'm gonna take a shortcut and it's going to be a little bit of a lighter version by baking the pita in the oven. The recipe calls for 3 pita breads, but I have 4 in the pack, so that's what I'm going to use. I'm going to cut them into wedges. You're going to need 2 baking trays for this. Now I'm just going to brush them with a little olive oil mixture that's going to be flavored. So I have some olive oil in here. I'm going to add some garlic powder to it, and you could add as little or as much as you want of everything. I'm thinking about 2 tablespoons or so. Some black pepper, and I'm also going to sprinkle in some oregano. If you have za'atar mix, you can throw that in here too. Mix that all up, and then I'm just going to quickly take 1 wedge at a time and brush it with this oil. Once you're done brushing the pita with oil, go ahead and sprinkle some salt on top. And I could have put this all in one pan, but overcrowding will keep them from getting maximum crispiness. So use the 2 pans. My oven is preheated to 350 degrees Fahrenheit. These are going to go in and bake for about 10 minutes or until they're nice and golden and crisp. Keep an eye on them. You don't want them to burn. So I went ahead and I drained 2 15-ounce cans of chickpeas. They're already cooked chickpeas, and I also rinsed them with a little bit of cold water, put them in a little pot. Now I'm going to add a cup of water to this. I'm using hot water, but you can start with cold water. That's fine. A little bit of salt. I like to add a little pinch of crushed red pepper flakes and some black pepper because it adds good flavor. And sumac. Sumac adds a little bit of almost like a lemon citrusy type flavor. It's a little tangy and really good. I would add about half a teaspoon or a teaspoon of it. So I'm gonna cook this over medium heat until the chickpeas are nice and soft and most of the liquid has evaporated and absorbed into the chickpeas. Give them a little taste and adjust the seasoning if it's necessary. Now we're gonna move on and we're gonna make that delicious yogurt sauce. I'm gonna add 2 garlic cloves that I finely grated. This might be 3, but the more garlic, the better. 2 tablespoons of tahini paste. Now you can find this online. Whole Foods sells a really good brand. The brand Soom, S-O-O-M, is one of my favorites. Their tahini is always very fresh, so I would choose any of those brands or one that you really like. And then I'm gonna add a cup of yogurt. This is not Greek yogurt, this is plain yogurt. If you're using Greek yogurt, you're gonna have to thin it out a little bit more. The sauce is supposed to be a little bit on the thinner side. If you like a thick sauce, that's fine with me, but I would go with a plain yogurt. And then about 1/4 cup of lemon juice. Fresh lemon juice is always the best. So I'm gonna add the juice of 2 lemons, but taste it and make it as lemony as you like. A little bit of salt, and mix that all up until it's very smooth. I try not to dirty a whisk, but this needs to get really smooth, so I'm going to use a whisk to whisk this all up. Then if it seems like it's a little bit too thick for me, I'm going to add a little bit of water until it gets to the consistency that I like. I like it to be almost to a pourable consistency, but you make it as thick or as thin as you like. Give it a taste. Delicious. Okay, so I forgot to mention that I also added a half a teaspoon of ground cumin powder to the chickpeas while they were cooking. So many things going on at the same time. So the final component of this recipe is the toasted pine nuts. Traditionally, they're usually fried in olive oil or butter, and that makes them taste so delicious. But I'm gonna take a little shortcut and also cut a few calories by toasting them in a pan. I just added some pine nuts to my pan. Slivered almonds is also a good substitute if that's what you have. And just toast them until they're nice and golden. I know some got a little bit extra brown in my pan, as you can see, but so keep an eye on them. I'm just doing too many things at the same time. I'm also recording a fig cake video, so look out for that one. Now we're gonna put it all together. Before we put this all together, I wanna let you know that once you put the whole thing together, you're gonna have to serve it right away and eat it right away so that way the chips don't get soggy. That's why what I'm gonna do today, instead of putting the whole thing together, because I can't sit down and eat all of this. I mean, I could, but I shouldn't. I'm gonna do one portion in the plate. So you can definitely serve it that way, where you put all the portions out and then everybody can kind of make their own plate. Or if you know that you're serving it right away, just prepare it in a big serving platter and everybody can just scoop out their portion. We give you options here. So I'm gonna take some of the pita chips. This is kind of like a layered dip. So I'm gonna take some of the pita chips, and you can definitely put them in whole like this, but I like to crush them a little bit. Put them as the bottom layer. I guess think of this as a crust to a pie. Then I'm gonna top it with the chickpeas. Taste the chickpeas and see if they need more seasoning. I already did, and mine tastes perfect. Lots of this garlicky yogurt sauce. I would even thin this out a little bit more. It kind of thickened as it sat. Top it with the toasted pine nuts. I also like to take some sumac and put it on top. And the one thing I forgot to do was finally chop some parsley. I have some parsley here soaking in water. Just a little bit on top. You could also top it with a few more crumbled or crushed pita chips. And I think it needs a little drizzle of olive oil. If you fried the pine nuts, you can take some of that frying oil and just drizzle it over the top. Okay, time for the taste test. This is the best. You get the crunchy, salted pita chips that already have a lot of flavor because they're already seasoned with the garlic and salt and pepper and all that good stuff. The warm chickpeas with the creamy, tangy sauce. This is a combination that you're gonna absolutely love. I hope you guys give this one a try. The recipe with the exact measurements are on the website, dimitrasdishes.com. I hope you check it out and you make it. If you have any recipe requests, post them down below and I'll get to them as soon as I can. Thank you so much for spending time with me today. I'll see you all next time. Yes, us.